Hi there and welcome. You should be on page 34 of your Algebra 1, Quarter 3 notebook. We are going to continue our try-it problems for the lesson factoring with trinomials with leading coefficients of 1. Let's take a look at number 7. I don't see a greatest common factor. There is no number or variable I can take out of each term, so there is no GCF. Let's draw a big X, and I'm going to identify A, B, and C, remembering that in my standard of a quadratic, I have ax squared plus bx plus c. So I'm looking for the coefficient of ax squared, of x, and that constant c. So my leading coefficient, of course, is 1. That's the invisible 1 there. B is 6, and c is negative 5. So you might remember that in this bottom part, I'm going to do 1 times negative 5, or a times c. That's negative 5, and b is 6. So remember, I'm looking for numbers that will multiply to negative 5, and add to 6. So the only way to get negative 5 through multiplication is 1 times negative 5, or negative 5 times 1. Let's imagine, what is 1 plus negative 5? Well, that's, oh my gosh, I wrote the same exact thing, which is kind of funny to me in some senses. Negative 5 times 1, negative 5 times negative 1. I really should redo that, but I'm not going to. I'm going to just let you enjoy my mistake there. So now I'm going to go back. These are the only two ways I can get to negative 5. 1 times negative 5, or I can make the 1 negative, negative 1 times 5. So what is 1 plus negative 5? Well, that's negative 4. That doesn't equal 6. And 5 plus negative 1 is a positive 4. That also doesn't equal negative 6. And you will run into occasions like this where it is simply impossible to multiply to a times c and add to b. And this is a situation when there is no GCF and there is no way to factor your trinomial, that you have a prime polynomial. It cannot be factored further. Now on to number 8. Hopefully I do a better job. I do not see a numerical or, I almost said or a variable factor, but look, this has x to the third, x squared, and this last term also has an x. I'm used to seeing that constant by itself. So it looks like if I look at my variables, I want to look at my lowest exponent, x to the first, and I can take at least one x out of everything. So I'm going to remove that GCF of x first. Now, when I'm removing a coefficient, I'm dividing, because when I distributed coefficients, I multiplied. Well, remember, when I'm distributing variables, I'm adding the exponents. So when I remove those variables, I subtract. Remember, this is a 1, so what is 3 minus 1? Well, that's 2, so this is x squared. Negative 2 stays the same. Now I have 2 minus 1. That's 1, and that just is an x. And I have 1 minus 1. That's x to the power of 0, which we know equals 1. So that is gone, because negative 48 times 1 is, well, it's negative 48. So now I have removed that variable GCF, and I'm going to see if I can factor this trinomial further. So let's identify A, B, and C. A is 1, B is negative 2, and C is negative 48. A times C, 1 times negative 48 is negative 48, and B is negative 2. So now I want to think about factors of 48 that will add to negative 2. 1 times 48, 2 times 24, 3 times 16. So far, I don't see anything that's going to work. 4 times 12, nope. 5 doesn't go into it. 6 times 8, If I did 8 minus 6, I would definitely get 2, but I want it to be negative 2. So let's have negative 8 plus 6. That equals negative 2. So my factors are negative 8 and a positive 6. I'm going to prepare my binomials. I need to keep that greatest common factor there still. And I have x minus 8, x plus 6. And voila, I have factored x cubed minus 2x squared minus 48x. Time to look at these quotients here. I've got some division. Don't worry so much about it. I just need to factor my numerators. Looks like there is no GCF for this numerator. So I'm going to see if when I factor this trinomial, it gets me x minus 8. So if I'm identifying A, B, and C, I got 1, -1, and a -56. 1 times -56 is -56, and B is -1. So there are a lot of factors of 56, but I do know 7 times 8 equals 56. Now if I just write that down, I know 7 times 8 equals 56. If I write that down, I know that 8 minus 7 is 1, but 7 minus 8, so if this were -8, that will give me -1. So let's make that -8 to get a -56, and I've got my factors, 7 and -8. So I have to rewrite this numerator in its now factored form, x plus 7, x minus 8, and I still have to write x minus 8. Well, remember, any number divided by itself is 1, so I am left with x plus 7 as the answer, the simplified answer to this problem. Let's take a look at this. There's no GCF in my numerator. I'm going to draw the x, and let's identify. I'm hoping you're finding yourself more and more familiar with identifying A, B, and C, placing it in here, finding those factors. So A equals 1, B equals -9, and C equals -52. 1 times -52 is -52, and B equals -9. Now let's think of my factors of -52. Well, I'm thinking of a deck of cards, and if there are 4 suits and 13 in each suit, I know that 4 times 13 is 52. And this is just from playing lots of cards with my grandparents. So I know this just from years of playing cards with my grandparents, that there are 13 cards. So 4 times 13 is 52. I want a -9, so I'm going to have that negative be my bigger number to get -52. And 4 plus -13 does equal -9. So I have factors of 4 and -13. So I've got to rewrite this piece. Got x plus 4, x minus 13, and that of course is all over x plus 4. Remember, something divided by itself cancels, that's 1, and I've got x minus 13. Voila, done. Alrighty, this last one, lots of different strategies. I mean, 2 times x plus 3, x minus 2 is the factored form of which polynomial? I could certainly see if all of this, well, I could distribute. Let's see, this is going to be 2x squared. I'm just distributing the 2 plus 2x minus 12. That actually seems to be the same thing as that, which is curious, isn't it? This is going to be 2x squared minus 12x minus 10. Well, which are those two? Let's see what we've got. I'm going to factor this, or I'm going to multiply this. And I know that we use those tables to multiply our binomials a lot. So for this, I want to multiply my binomials first. But I'm going to do FOIL. X times x is x squared. Outer, -2x times x is minus 2x. And 3 times x is plus 3x. There's my inner. Plus 6 minus 2 is -6. Alrighty, I know this needs to be all with 2 outside. I can combine my like terms, and it does look like this is 2x squared plus 2x minus 12. I'm going to choose C because I'm looking at this as partially factored, right? Whereas this is not factored at all, even though they have the same value. This had already factored out the greatest common factor. This one started fresh right at the beginning. That's all for this video. Thanks so much.